I'm
On
great.
baseball's
Are we on?
best post-game show. Yes, we're on, sir. It's you and me. We're doing a post-game show live on X, live anywhere in the world. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm doing well, Puck. I got a couple things for you off the top. So,
Okay, what do you got?
Is this post-game show better than the post-game show I did with Bill Kruger?
Yeah, I don't know. You guys tell me. You just make sure you bring that microphone up a little bit closer to you.
I'll get it close.
I don't know.
There we go.
You people, I'm not Ross Perot over here. How you guys can leave comments below there on YouTube and in the X stream. Is this post-game show better than what Brad just did with Root Sports and Bill Kruger? I don't know. I'm not as salty as Bill, I'll tell you that.
Right, especially after a loss. We don't have highlights yet, but hey, and also on Monday, hey, did I have fun Monday night? Not just the Garver walk-off, but seeing you in person here at T-Mobile Park. You're just badgering Kelnick. You're trying to get some dirt. I loved it. You're like,
was not.
The way you phrased your questions was so fun. Like, hey, Jared, what's your kind of reaction, your thoughts when you look back? Was it bitter? Was it disappointment?
Yeah.
I mean, nothing positive whatsoever.
There wasn't. Yeah, there was. It was bad. Yeah, I was there. I was that guy. I was there to get a soundbite.
For you.
I'm not going to lie.
Great to see you. I mean, this is fun, but to see you be able to hold you in my arms once again, it was great. Come to more games.
I am going to come to more games. Brad Adam, that's his beautiful face. I'm Jason Puckett. His weekly appearance on Wednesdays, and when they have a day game, which it feels like they've got a day game.
Every Wednesday.
Flipping Wednesday is brought to you by the great John Howie Steak. And eventually, Brad will get to meet John Howie at some point.
I'm going to have to record it if I do it, right? At least a picture, say something. Puck, here we are.
You know what I want?
John says hi.
You know what I want to happen? I want him to be there one day. I'm like, hey, John. And he's like, oh, hey. And you're like shaking hands, like, let's take a picture for Puck. And he's like, and you finish up and he's like, all right, it was good to see you, Tom. And then like he walks off.
How do I know you again? The Puck,
who's that guy again? Who is that?
Who's that girl again?
Well,
send him a free dessert. Give me a free dessert out of it.
Yeah, anything. The whatever they got there, just all of it. It's great. Well, we're gonna go here about 25 minutes or so. Brad, normally we tape them for the podcast for the show at pucksports.com. Which is also on YouTube. You're gonna be able to listen. You're watching this right now live, but you'll be able to listen back to this on Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast. And again, please, as they say, rate, like, subscribe, comment. It helps me bring in the moolah, okay? So let's do all of that.
I like it.
They have been playing dangerous with this. Now, they ended up getting 10 hits today and then end up only scoring 2 runs, right?
Yeah, a little role reversal a little bit, right? This is the first time they had lost their 12-0 when they had out-hit the other team.
Yeah.
So it hadn't happened a lot in the first 30 games, but they've just been kind of living on the edge. It's been fun. It's been Mariners baseball. I talked to Mitch Garver Tuesday after his walk-off, and I said, hey, welcome to Mariners baseball. Get used to that. A lot of low scoring. They need you to homer late. It's going to be a close game. And he's like, hey, big leads are good too. We had that in Texas. And I said, I know you had that in Texas, but it's a little different here because when the pitching gets on a roll like this, you're in every single game like we've seen. It is a historic roll, Puck. And we had a clarification. I misspoke early on the postgame. I thought starters had to go 5 innings to keep the streak alive of 2 earned runs or less. They do not. So because Hancock gave up 5 runs, only 1 earned, the streak is alive. 19 straight games, starters have given up 2 earned runs or less.
So they don't have to. Okay, wait a minute. If he goes an inning, if he goes 1 inning, does it count?
That's what I've been told. 2 earned runs or less, it counts.
Really? That doesn't. I'll be honest with you. Does that feel right to you?
I mean, I thought it had to be 5.
Yeah.
But something happens like today. When a couple of errors gives up 4 unearned runs, it's not Hancock's fault.
That's true.
So I guess it makes sense. And if you're giving up 2 earned runs or less, you're going 5.
Well.
So maybe it doesn't have to be 5. I misspoke. I got a clarification. Maybe we'll have another clarification.
Yeah.
But
Do
for
you
right
get
now,
do you get penalized? Like, who penalizes you for that at Root? Is there? I mean, I don't know how the TV world works. Is there a public lashing that people can go attend and watch?
what we do is we take it out on Kruger. So so I railed him in the postgame show. And I
That
said,
didn't come across great, but I'm going to save that soundbite.
Bill, great point. Now that I think about it, I said, Bill told me, because he's a pitcher, and this is what he told me, and Bill's wrong. So I threw him under the bus a little bit.
Let's go to that 4th inning, though, because, I mean, that's the game, right?
That was the game.
Michael Harris grounds out, so they quickly get the out with Polanco. And then Arcia hits a ball. It's a routine ball that in right field, and Mitch Haniger has made that a million times.
And it was one of those, Puck, you're keeping score, and he hits it, and I went, and I looked down, and I'm right, F9, who's up next, this happened. And then I heard a reaction. I was like, and Arcia's on second. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the triple over his head, that was a tough play. He couldn't quite get that. I was hoping that he was going to be okay, and luckily he was. He wasn't injured on that. He hit the wall pretty hard.
Yeah, he did.
And that was it. We talk so much, Puck, about this Braves offense coming in, best in everything, right? Best record, best everything on offense. They did not homer. They had 2 extra base hits in the series, and the rest of them singles.
Yeah.
I mean, amazing. What we talked about, would great pitching beat great hitting? Great pitching beats great hitting every time, because the hardest thing to do in all sports, Puck, is hit a baseball. It's not even close. Hardest thing in any – this is it. So when you get good pitching like the Mariners have, and they're on their game, even the Braves, I don't care who's up there, it's really, really hard to hit.
Harder than an 8-footer breaking left to right downhill.
Yeah, it is. But that's a tough one. That makes me nervous. I blame my approach shot if I have that putt. I'm so mad at me. I'm like, how could I have done that?
The instructor said hands in front when I'm hitting my short irons.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you're right about the offense. I mean, about the pitching, though. I mean, what they've showed in the last few series, right? If we look at the Braves, they wrap it up.
They've been playing.
The Rangers and the D-backs, all these teams in the World Series.
Awesome. And the Braves, perennially contenders.
Yeah.
Right? So to win, 5 series in a row and to do it against these guys and to shut them down like they have been doing, it's special. And I hope people can kind of appreciate it. We've seen stretches like this before, but never like this from the rotation. It's like a 1-5 over the last 19 games from the start.
Well,
I mean,
but
it just doesn't happen.
It doesn't. But I mean, again, that's where the rub is. Because I'm kind of caught with in between there, right, Brad? It's like there's part of me that I'm amazed at what they're doing, and I think what they have been doing is showing you. I mean, this Hancock is your 5th starter. The guy, he wasn't even supposed to be here.
6th starter, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying. He wasn't even supposed to be here. And he's going out, and for the most part, he's had 1 bad outing. That's it. I don't think he had a necessarily bad outing today. He didn't get help by his defense. He wasn't like on his A game, but he certainly was more than manageable early in that game. And you just see what they can do with what they can do pitching wise. But the problem is that and that stat you just cited up, the 19 straight games with the 2 earned runs or less. We all know that's not sustainable. And they can't keep that up over a course of a season. Now the 10 hits today are great, but they managed just the 2 runs off those 10 hits. I mean, they were 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position. The downside of it is that if they fall into a trap again where the pitching suffers, like it kind of did a little bit last year towards the end of the season, you need this offense at some point to pick them up and carry them a little bit. And we haven't been able to see that yet. And boy, if they ever can just get the 2 of them to marry up together, for God's sakes, they'll be unstoppable.
Yeah. Right. And that's a good point, because at the beginning of the season, the rotation, wasn't throwing as well. Right. And they needed the offense to pick them up, and it just wasn't there. That's why they got off to that 6-10 start.
Right.
When they started to turn it around was when they started putting up zeros, and they got a timely hit here or there. a Mitch Garver home run, a Polanco home run.
Yeah.
They've been able to homer
Yeah.
lately, which has been saving them. But you're right, they need a lot more consistency. You know, and we're still waiting for Julio to go off. I know he had 3 hits today, but it was a tough homestand for him. Haniger's been slumping. He might need a day off. Luckily, there is one tomorrow. France with just a couple of home runs. You know, you're kind of waiting for Garver, Polanco. You're just kind of waiting for all of them to click. And they keep saying, you know, once they get going 1 through 9, they all believe that they're going to be a lot better than this. They're just kind of waiting for that. You know, the track record says that they will be better than this. And then you're right. If they can score, I mean, imagine if they're scoring 5, 6 runs a game. Like, it's going to be hard to beat them.
They'd run away with the thing,
going,
Brad.
right?
Brad, if they were averaging the runs like the Braves, who came into this series the number 1 offense in baseball, they'd run away with the thing.
They'd be like 10 games up already. Yeah. I agree with you. It's ridiculous. And still in first place, which is great. It's a great place to be. We had the standings up, and I had to do a double take, Puck. The Oakland A's are in third at 15 and 17. I couldn't believe how good they were. I love watching Miller close out games, though, so that's been fun. And in last place, still Houston. But we will say, 10 and 19.
Can you believe that story with Abreu?
Oh, my gosh, I'll go down to the minors?
They've sent him to the minors.
Gosh.
And I felt bad. I felt bad for him. I watched or read his, you know, when he was talking to the press and just how he feels I think he said, I feel ashamed of where I'm at and what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's under 200. He's under 100, wasn't he?
They might have been.
I think he was at 099 when they sent him down. And I mean, they gave him $50+ million. And that's remarkable.
When it goes for some hitters, like when you're approaching 40 or so, however old he is, when it goes quickly.
It does.
You know, and he might be going on the other side. But they do have their starters back. They had 4 guys out of the rotation. And they've got, I think they're all going to be back this series because Polanco's back, Verlander's back.
They're going to turn it around. They will.
Yes, yeah, but I'm still saying, you know, you don't need 90 to win the West.
Oh, you're right.
You know, Texas is kind of fumbling along. They're waiting for some guys too. I get that, but I don't think you need 90.
But this series coming up with them, that's where they're heading next. They're going to Houston and then Minnesota. It still scares me. It's been a house of horrors there for them. It just does.
But not last year.
Well, not last year, but it just overall, feels like it's just a place they go, and it's just weird things happen, and that stupid field, and that dumb train, and all of it.
Yeah.
God.
You don't like the home run train?
No, I hate it all. I hate everything about that team and that city, and their stupid ass press that cover the team. You know, that one jackass guy that they have there is like one of those fan guys. God, I hate them all. Jesus, they're annoying.
You hate the Crawford boxes?
Okay. Yeah, just all of them.
Yeah, you know, when you get to 7 straight ALCSs, you start to get a little cocky, right? People, you know, it's like a little different, right? And people like take shots at you. I agree. You know, I can kind of appreciate how they built the team and how they drafted and developed and figured some things out. You had to tank for 4 years to do it, but you know, again, I'm surprised that they didn't add, you know, a team like that wants to go to the World Series every year, should have a lot of money. They didn't add. And I was surprised, especially in the rotation. I was surprised at that. So they're just betting that their guys will get back and be better and be healthy and that the offense will pick it up.
Well, speaking of adding, I mean, I don't, on this morning's Daily Puck Drop, the DPD, by the way, you can find it 10 a.m. pucksports.com, wherever you find your podcast, because we're doing live stuff right now. So this is like going back to radio where I got to reset everything. Okay. Gotcha. We do live content every day at pucksports.com. You can find it on YouTube. Just search Puck Sports. We're here on Twitter, X at Puck2040. I don't need to tell you that because you're watching this right now. And also on Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast. We release the DPD, the Daily Puck Drop, every day at 10 a.m. I spoke into the camera, just like I'm looking at your beautiful blue eyes right now. And I'm begging.
Brown.
A brown. Well, that's right.
Whatever. You're fine.
Well, brown or blue. I think I was just.
What color are your wife's eyes?
Blue. I think.
Yeah? Is that a question?
It was a question.
Just checking. All right,
hold on. Let me just. I think they're blue. They could be brown.
Get a picture of her.
Better know that Mother's Day coming up. It's Mother's Day. God, what do you get for now? Now I'm on
coming.
Mother's Day. What do you want for Mother's Day? I don't know.
Yeah,
We got a
do you want
baseball.
flowers?
We have a
Do you want
baseball
breakfast
tournament.
in bed?
Yeah, we got a baseball tournament on Mother's Day. And she goes, "Do I have to go to it?" I said, "You don't have." I said,
You
"You
don't.
don't. But if you do
As your
go,
present.
like you and the rest of the moms, I'll bring a mobile, bar, and we'll serve you drinks."
Sure.
She's like,
That'll get through a tournament.
she goes, "No."
She okay with
No,
that?
she's like, I don't want to go. The tournament's called Bombs for Moms. So I was going to make like Irish car bomb drinks for the moms.
The car bombs. Dude, I was out with Paul Abbott. Remember the pitcher out in Issaquah? Yeah. He introduced me to those, and oh my gosh.
Fun.
I mean, I felt fun, but then it's like closing time, 2 a.m. time to go, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm getting home.
Well, you weigh like a freshman sorority girl, Brad, so it's going to hit you a little harder. Let's be honest.
Those Irish car bombs.
They'll get you.
You were starting to tell a story. I don't even remember what you were going to say. Do you?
Oh, I know. I know what I was going to say.
Somebody's eyes.
Yeah, I know what I was going to say.
Sorry.
I got on my hands and knees, and I'm just begging John Stanton that when they get closer to the deadline, you just open it up.
I know where you're going.
Just open it up, because they cannot, right? And you're going to agree with this. Everyone's going to agree with this. They cannot squander this pitching staff right now because they're not paying them anything, especially, minus Castillo. The rest of them, they're paying them anything.
Right.
They cannot squander this. This is the time that if they can take on a salary or two that someone wants to dump, this group this year has got to be willing to jump both feet in the deep end of the pool. Yeah, maybe they can't swim, but don't worry, someone's going to save you because they got to spend, and because they owe it, right? I mean, they owe it to these guys on the team. They owe it to the fan base, Brad. But you know what, really? I mean, I know John Stanton's a huge baseball fan. Obviously, he's the owner of a team. He owes it to himself to do it. He'll be a king. He'll be a hero in town if they were just, this is the year not to sell no more selling Kendall Graveman off on, and then Paul Sewald. This isn't the year. This is the year to go get guys because you said it earlier. It's not going to take 90 wins to win this thing.
So would you so who would you be willing to trade, right? At the deadline, it's going to have to be a trade. So are you willing to trade your top guys to get a big bat? Or would you want like a pretty good bat, like an upgrade, but maybe not an all-star? I mean, are you talking about an all-star bat?
I think first and foremost.
Then who are you going to give up?
First and foremost, I'm going to look for someone. We're just spitballing right now. I'm looking for someone that a team may want to dump salary-wise. They don't want to pay it anymore. This group is, and so by picking that salary up, we don't have to give up a major prospect, less prospect. They've got to be willing to go. If there's someone or a couple people out there, they've got to be willing to do it this year. If they don't want to part with any of their prospects, but to prospects, I'm fine with it. I'll make up for prospects later if they add an impactful all-star caliber bat or two that helps them, vaults them to win the whole thing. Because, they get in the postseason, and if they can score just a run and a half more, there's no one's touching this pitching staff.
No one. I agree. And so if I agree with you, I would trade prospects for like an all-star bat, like you said, that's got, maybe 2 more years of control, right? You're not actually going to get a rental, but I would trade prospects for sure. And yes, I want to be the first one to say that, but you beat me to it, right? When they get to the postseason, Puck, who's going to want to face them?
Nobody's going to want to face them.
It's the same thing 2 years ago. Yes, the Astros swept them, but you look at the games and they were all winnable, and it was hard for Houston, and nobody wanted to face this staff.
Every one of those games
going to be this year.
You're exactly right. Every one of those games was right there for
same them. Thing. If this is a World Series team, right? The Braves, they couldn't score off the Mariners here. They scored 5 today, but 4 were unearned. They couldn't score. They had no home runs, 2 extra base hits in 3 games. Couldn't do anything. I mean, granted, it's here and it's cold at night Monday, Tuesday, but it's going to be cold in October. So they match up against anybody with the pitching and the bullpen that they've got. So I agree with you. If they can get some, it'd be great for them to be aggressive and add that bat. I
it's a
agree.
luxury to have, but Brian Wu is going to be close to returning. So what's the decision? What do we do?
Yep.
I mean, I know what they're going to do. I mean, Wu's going to go right back into it. How do you keep Hancock engaged and ready to go? It's a nice problem to have. You've got two guys that you can certainly put at the back end of your rotation, but there's nothing I saw from Hancock that says that he doesn't deserve a spot. Right? He's been great. I think he's been. I'll pause on great. He's been better than I expected.
For a fifth starter, he's been really good. You mentioned the one bad turn. Other than that, 3 quality starts coming into today, and it wasn't terrible today. But again, the defense hurt him. Wu's going to go out Saturday and pitch. They're hoping the final time for Tacoma, depending on how many pitches he can get up to, how he feels, and then they're going to try to figure out slot him back in. They're not going to go to a 6-man. I asked about that. Well, keep Hancock around. Not going to do that. He'll go down to Tacoma and just continue to pitch. They don't want him out of the bullpen. He's a starter. But as you know, Puck, you're going to need another guy, at some point. You're not going to be able to go 5 starters the whole year.
What do you think their rationale, though, is?
We'll see.
What do you think their rationale is? I'm just not to say that I disagree with it. I'm just curious of not going to a 6-man.
I think that they've done that in the past a little bit to manage innings with the younger guys. I think that Kirby, Gilbert, Miller, Wu, still a little bit. That's why I think Hancock and Wu will kind of be somewhat interchangeable a little bit. But those other guys are set to go and don't need to worry about inning limits anymore. And Castillo is Castillo. So I think you want to keep them on turn.
Yeah.
I think that, now, if they go 7 innings every time like they've been doing, maybe, in August or something, you want to give them a little bit of a break, just to get them ready postseason.
The Seagulls are coming after you. Do you see? They're swarming you, bud.
I'm in cover. I'm good. Out there, we're sitting ducks.
They're swarming.
Today, so we're okay.
They are swarming after you, man. They're coming. They're looking for blood.
Yeah. They're looking for Kruger.
That's what they are. But you should put food on Kruger's head next time. And just have them start picking away the top of his head and see if he notices. Sprinkle in some breadcrumbs up there.
He'd have to notice. But I think they want to just keep the 5 minutes, just keep it rolling. I think, like I said, Wu, at some point, I think he and Hancock will kind of flip back and forth a little bit. But the other guys they're so good, and they're just built for 200 innings, and just want to let them just go and just dominate like they have been.
Where are we at when we were at the ballpark there the other day there on Monday for that opener there against the Braves? We both saw with our, your beautiful brown eyes, my beautiful blue. We saw J.P. Crawford out there taking some grounders. Where still feels like a few weeks away for J.P. right to get back on the field. He looked good to me.
Absolutely, yeah. He was fielding balls okay, moving a little bit. He threw a little bit yesterday, so he was lobbing balls. First time he's thrown a little bit. I saw him and I said, "Hey man, they're talking about 3 weeks with you," and he's like, "No chance, 2 weeks or something." But just JP kind of being JP. He wants to play, but you got to be really careful with an oblique, as you know.
I don't know, Brad, because I don't know where my oblique is. Okay, and I don't have an oblique, so I have no idea.
On your side, you have to. Well, it's his right side, so it's the when he swings, it's there. When he throws, so that's something that you got to be really careful about. It's usually like a 4 to 6 week thing, but he was grade 1, so it's a lowest strain, which is great. The Braves catcher Sean Murphy, remember him from the A's? They got him an all-star catcher. Went down with an oblique the very first game of the season, and it's yet to return. So that's been.
Have you ever got a cramp in your oblique or your side just by rolling over in bed?
I have got it by eating once, but not rolling over. No, it's funny.
That's hashtag athlete right there.
Right? It's like, oh yeah. And sometimes when I go on a walk, I'll get it. But
wait a minute, on a walk? Like, why would you ever get on a walk?
But it's funny though. You talk to like old school guys, Kruger and some guys who played, and they're just like, oblique. We never had oblique problems. Guys are in too good a shape. They're too strong. They're pulling their muscles. They're this and that. And I don't know if there's anything to be said to that. These guys are just so strong, and they train so much and they do so much rotational stuff, and it's just crazy. They're off the charts. Pitchers, I mean, it's a legit injury that you don't want to mess around with, kind of like a hamstring.
Sure.
You don't want to come back too soon because then you lingers the whole season. So you want to be 100%. And I mean, Dylan Moore made a couple of nice plays again today. Had a double. He's been just fine at shortstop, making plays. I made a couple layout for some nice catches here today. So there hasn't been like a gaping hole at short. Like you're like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? So that's been good. And they've been winning, and they've been winning series. So it's nice to be able to let JP just come back at his own time and not try to rush him back, because you need a shortstop, because you're not playing well, you're not making plays. So that's not the case. Which is
one would have to imagine, Brad, that they've taken a lot of confidence after what they've done here in the last 5 series, but especially against these last 3 teams. And I'm just wondering what, like the guys that you talk to there, pregame, when you're grabbing ass, like you usually do there pregame, when the guys are swinging, they're trying to get the work in, but you're over there harassing them the whole time.
And I'm just chatting. Right.
I would assume they take it away from them. They know, despite where the offense is, right? They know like how good they are. And Service said it the other day. They know that, hey, Atlanta's a good team, but so are we. They know that, and these last 3 series has to only give them more confidence where they're at in terms of kind of the rankings there of baseball teams who can compete for a championship. They must take away an enormous amount of confidence.
Yeah, we heard Munoz and Cal Raleigh talk about that last night. I think when you go back to the first couple of weeks, and it was a slow start, as I mentioned, they're 6-10. Fans, I think, were getting worried about it. We kept saying it was early, don't worry about it. And the players had the same reaction. Like they just knew, as Haniger says, you come into work every day, you don't listen to the noise or the BS, and it just plays itself out. And now we've seen that the last 20 games or so, right? The last 15 games have been 11-4. Tied for the best record in baseball. So now the guys are saying, well, we figured it would turn at some point. The pitching's been so good. We're still waiting for the offense to pick it up. Like they're not saying, yeah, now we're going to go to the World Series. They're very level-headed. I mean, guys in baseball know, as you do, Puck, it's so long. I mean, there's 131 left. It seems like we played a while, but 131 games left. So these guys were never low at the beginning. They're not over the moon now. They just know that, it's good right now. There's confidence, and they're confident that they can get better. Once the offense gets going a little bit, I think they're in a good spot, and I think that this will help them as they start playing some teams, not as good, because they've played some really good teams.
For sure,
the schedule's been difficult, so when they start playing, the White Sox, we're going to see the A's.
Yeah, but it gets going to get tough right after that. I mean, listen. Minnesota's Minnesota. Oakland's better than we think.
Right, and Minnesota's won 9 straight. Thanks to the summer sausage. You gotta love that story.
I don't even. Do I not know this?
You don't know the sausage?
Is this like the races?
So no, well, no, it's a real sausage. So
I don't know.
Before the streak started, you gotta look it up. Before the streak started, there was, and I don't know how a coach. I believe it was a coach had a sausage in the dugout and said, "Hey, the first leadoff batter, come here and tap the sausage."
Jesus.
I was like, what?
Come on, you're making this. What do you mean tap the sausage?
It's a sauce.
His sausage
in the wrap, right? Hit the. So he taps the sausage.
I've been tapping the sausage since I was 11.
You've been
tell you that. What are you, Jason? I don't know. Jason, what are you doing in there? Jason, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Tapping the sausage, Mom. Leave me alone. Okay, I'm sorry. I ruined your story.
They hit the sausage, and they go back-to-back home runs.
Okay.
Since then, Puckett, they have had that sausage in the dugout. This sausage, now they travel with it, and they put it in a Ziploc bag, and they're worried.
Seriously?
I'm not. They're traveling with this sausage. It's the original one from 2 weeks ago, but they're worried that it's so molded and disgusting that they can't open it up. They're afraid they're going to start another.
How do I not know about this?
So they have the dugout sausage that they carry, travel with them, and they have it in the dugout.
Hashtag tap the sausage.
And they've won 9 straight after the sausage. So we've got that
great.
going for us.
I'm going to be honest with you. I know. I like the Mariners.
How do you
I
not
don't
know
know.
about that? You
And
Minnesota guy and
I usually
sausage?
find all those stories. I don't know how I didn't know that.
Right.
No idea. Tap the sausage.
I'm sure I've gotten some of the details are a little fuzzy, but that's the gist.
Is it like when you were in junior high? Do the guys like run around the dugout and like, you know, flick the sausage like they used to do? Like you know what I'm talking about?
The seeds? Yeah, I do. No. Check it out. Anyway, but you're right. A's are better, and the Royals actually over 500 too. So I mean,
well, then you got Baltimore, then you got New York. I mean,
that's going to be a difficult trip. But again, when you give up 2 runs or less, you're going to win them all. Games, and you're in every game, right? You're in every series. Want? So it doesn't matter to them. So
what do you want from this 7-game road trip? The 3 in Houston, 4 in Minnesota. 4-3, 5-2. What are you thinking?
I think best case 5-2. I do. I think they can win both series. I don't know about the Astros. I just don't. You know, I think they kind of got over that hurdle last year, winning in Houston. I mean, before then, the numbers were just outrageous. Right. I can't like 2-21 or something terrible before last year, and they dominated them last year. And I just don't know what the Astros are going to be like when they face. We'll see. You know, we got 3 games starting on Friday. We will see. And then Minnesota is, you know, as well as the sausage is working for them in 9 straight games. I don't know. I think the Mariners can win that too. I think they should. I mean, 5-2, best case. I think winning 4-3 would be a very good road trip. I just, you know, you look at what they've been doing, Puck, and you just don't see a 1-6 or a 2-5. You know, it's just the way they're doing. I mean, they're just not going to lose many games in a row with the way they're pitching.
I'm going to see if my wife wants to tap my sausage for good luck.
Just don't have your little league team do that. Yeah. Do not have that.
Tonight on the news, little league coach having players tap his sausage. We'll have more at 6.
Don't have them do not good luck.
We've got the plunger. Do you know what we do? Have you heard what we have?
No.
So our team name, Ballard Little League. Shout out Ballard Little League. By the way, celebrating 70 years. And Brad is drinking. That is straight vodka. They serve that in the press box. It's unbelievable.
You got to bring your own. Yeah. You can't drink it. Yeah. They provide limes. Yeah. So our sponsor is Fisher Plumbing. So one of our team moms, one of our moms on the team, and her daughter bought a plunger, not a used one. It's a real one. I don't have it here because it broke last night, and they painted it gold. Okay, and so I'm hoping that's your team color.
No, gold. The Trident. They did it for the Trident.
Okay, gold.
And so after every run we score, because not home runs, because we're not scoring home runs. After every run, the kids run off and they put the plunger on their head.
They run around the
dugout. And then we have a mini plunger that we give out to the player of the game. It's our plunger of the game. Hashtag.
That's awesome.
Plungers up.
Plungers up. I'd like to come.
You're in. Come on over. We rallied last night. We were down 9-0 after 2 innings. Rallied to win 11-9 and 6. Let's go.
What did you tell the group down 9-0?
There was a big emotional speech. You know, a lot of basically, if you don't play better, I'll call the game. All right, Brad, you're the best. We kept you overtime. You did Root. You did our Puck's best baseball post-game show. We appreciate it. Brad, every single Wednesday at pucksports.com, also YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts, all brought to you by John Howie Steak. Yes?
This might have been better post-game because we did not talk about the sausage.
Yeah.
On Root.
Well, no.
But I guarantee you that Minnesota series, I will be all over that sausage.
And on that note, that has been a live version of baseball's best post-game show, Puck's best baseball post-game show. Again, John Howie Steak. Appreciate it, Brad. We'll talk to you soon. See you.
You got it.
Okay, we promise to be better.